Hello everyone, welcome back to FullGrownGaming's Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts. In this episode, we're going to start off by going straight into the square here, the town square you might say, and we're going to see a pretty weird sight, something I don't think we've seen this happen before, and as far as I know, this will never happen again, so feast your eyes on the Docile Heartless is what I like to call them, because they do not hurt us whatsoever. I'm not sure why, well, actually I do know why, but if you had never played the game before, you would probably be like, what in the world are they doing? And they also made it so you can't attack them, which is even weirder. I think it would be kind of, well, not cool, I guess, but even though they are, you know, not hurting us, there's no way Sora could know that they wouldn't turn at any time, so I think if you could attack them, that would be a kind of a cool thing. But if we come over here, I believe there's going to be a cutscene with a couple of very important characters, and this level is actually kind of short, if I remember correctly, so you guys might want to really try and pay attention to the storyline in this level, because it is one of the favorites of mine in the entire game.
And now, allow me to introduce the Master of Terror, the King of Nightmares, Jack Ellington! Bravo, Jack! Bravo! Those ghosts will be a big hit at this year's Halloween!
Thank you. But their movement still needs work. It's not scary enough. I want to strike bone-chilling terror. I'm going to consult the doctor.
Then I'll go attend to the decorations.
Alright guys, sorry about that, I had to do something, but Jack Skellington is clearly doing some sort of experiment to where the Heartless are not attacking us, and apparently he's doing all this so that he can have a very good Halloween, which is kind of a cool, you know, cause, I guess, but obviously this is not going to last forever, and there was a request that I mentioned how much Jack Skellington looks like Slenderman, which I was actually going to do anyway, because I don't doubt that Slenderman was inspired by Jack Skellington whatsoever, because if you look at them, they actually do look a lot alike. But when we go into the research labs, I believe there is going to be yet another cutscene that kind of delves into a little bit more behind the scenes of creating these props for Jack's Halloween.
I don't understand. Maybe the guidance system was damaged in the explosion.
Nonsense. My devices are always perfect.
Oh, I've got it! Why, of course. The Heartless need a heart. Doctor, do you think we can add a heart to that device?
Certainly. A heart's not all that complicated. Let's get to work.
To make a heart, first take a container with a lock.
We need the key to this thing first.
You're really gonna unlock it for them? Why not? If they succeed, we won't have to fight the Heartless, right? Besides, I want to see the Heartless dance too. Don't you? Not really.
My, that was amazing! And you are...
Sora.
Well done, Sora. I'd like you to be a part of this year's Halloween.
What's this Heartless doing here?
Oh, the Heartless came to town just recently. What's frustrating is I can't get them to dance with me. So, the doctor and I are trying to improve the guidance system. He's quite a genius. Okay, Doctor, let's continue. The ingredients for a heart. Pulse. Emotion.
Terror.
Fear. Hope and despair. Mix them all together, and we have a heart.
we're missing some ingredients. Let's try adding memory. Sally? Sally! Good-for-nothing girl. Don't know why I bothered creating her. Sally's got the memory we need. See if you can track her down.
No problem. Sora, would you like to come along?
Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and leave Donald and Goofy in here, and I might put Jack in later on, but there's a one trinity that I always forget where it is if I have to try and go back for it, so I'd rather just have Donald and Goofy in my party just so I don't miss it. But there's a couple of things. That heart that was like pulsing right here, that mechanical heart, always used to freak me out. And also, this guy's name is Dr. Finkelstein, I believe. Obviously a reference to Dr. Frankenstein. I mean, I know that's really obvious, but I didn't realize that the first time I played.
Jack! Jack! We have a major crisis! The Heartless are completely out of control! We can't stop them!
Maybe our experiment triggered something. Everything will be fine, Mayor. You have nothing to worry about.
And unfortunately, we cannot go the entire level. Or actually, maybe not. That's not even an unfortunate thing. I was going to say we can't go the entire level without fighting a couple of Heartless at least. And unfortunately, this is actually one unfortunate thing. A lot of these Heartless are exactly the same Heartless that we've seen. Like a shadow here, which you can barely see because the camera angle there got kind of ridiculous. But there's also those, I forgot what they're called already, Search Ghosts. I think they're the same exact enemy as before. So not really sure why they didn't put, more new enemies here. I think they could have had a lot of really cool enemies in this area, and for the most part they are pretty simple to defeat, so it's not like this level's hard or anything, but the battle level seems to be higher on the world map, so I'm not sure what's up with all that. I'm not really sure where they get the battle level, star system on the world map, but anyway, back here there's actually a treasure chest with Dalmatians in it. It makes me wonder who was, sadistic enough to bring Dalmatians to this world, but over here I believe this is actually Jack's house, Jack Skellington, the only Jack here. We can't go in there right now, obviously, because the door won't open. And another thing, this door is a whole lot shorter than Jack Skellington is, so I wonder how he fits in there. But if we pull the doorbell, like, I think 3 times, we either get a Mega Elixir or an Elixir or something like that. And this doorbell, I'm not sure what that is. Is that a spider? Pretty much everything about this world is just completely, I'm not going to say scary, but when you play through the game when you're like 8, how old was I? Yeah, maybe 8 when this game came out, and there's an Elixir, by the way. It was kind of creepy, so I'm not going to lie on that front. And another thing was, or that I wanted to mention, for those of you who might not know, and by the way, I need to go to the graveyard over here, and I'm not sure if there's going to be a cutscene, so maybe I'll save that thing I was about to talk about for just a second. Let's check this place, too. Once the Heartless here are out of our way, that was the worst inflection I have ever had when reading a sentence in a video game, but right here we actually do have to take out all of these enemies to, progress in the level here. What I was going to talk about, though, was the night before Christmas was actually apparently too scary or too disturbing or whatever, like the movie itself, for Disney to release it under its own brand. So they actually released it originally under Touchstone Pictures, which I actually had no idea was owned by Disney, or I'm not sure how that all works or whatever. But, and this is all, I'm getting all this from Wikipedia, by the way, or I did before I started this episode. Apparently, starting in 2006, Disney, wasn't so soft, and is now releasing it under the Disney title, but that's kind of weird how they started all that in the first place.
Zero, have you seen Sally anywhere?
Is something wrong, Jack?
No, everything's going great. We're going to have the best Halloween ever. All we need now is your memory.
Memory? You mean this? Jack, I have a bad feeling about this. Why don't you try something else? There's still time.
Nothing could beat what I've got planned. Once we give the Heartless a heart, they'll dance just as I envision it. Trust me, you're going to love it.
You hear that? Yeah, I sure did. A heart. What should we do?
Gosh, you really are stupid. Isn't it obvious?
Tell Oogie Boogie.
Those three kids are some of the most annoying characters I think I've ever heard, and that tall one, it sounds like maybe Lil from the Rugrats. That would be kind of weird if they were the same person, just because of the, you know, the way, how different the characters are. But when has that ever stopped a voice actor, or voice actress maybe, from doing two different, you know, roles? But if we talk to Dr. Finkelstein again, I believe we'll be able to give him the Forget-Me-Not. Yes, this is it. Now, just one more ingredient. We need Surprise to complete the heart. The mayor should know where it is.
A heart. That bonehead Jack is really making a heart. I'll be jiggered. That works for me. Ooh, when I get my hands on that, well, I've got no hands, but I'm still gonna nab that heart and control the Heartless.
Man, Oogie Boogie is a really weird person, and by the way, I just remembered that you can actually examine these books over here to get a torn page. I was about to walk out of here again without doing that, and I usually don't forget that. Like, usually, in this game I've noticed if there is a bookcase, there's probably something in the bookcase. But now that we have given the Forget-Me-Not to Dr. Finkelstein, he told us we have to go see the mayor. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this before that little cutscene played or not, but I'm not sure if you have to. You know, you probably do have to go back to the lab to give him the Forget-Me-Not to progress, but the mayor is actually back in the graveyard, so it's kind of like a back and forth thing that you have to do. And by the way, these enemies right here, I believe, are called White Knights. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, because white is actually spelled W-I-G-H-T in the journal, so that's kind of weird, but they're not all that hard. They kind of remind me of the soldier enemies, you know, that we first saw in Traverse Town, but they're not really all that hard. It takes like 2 combos to take care of them. So I'm actually going to go ahead and speed this up because we have to take out all of these enemies to actually progress. That was actually pretty fast. Usually I thought there was going to be a couple more waves of enemies there, but we can actually jump through that little crypt, or I don't even know what you would call that. But over here, I believe, is the mayor. I don't know. The camera keeps jerking back and forth. Sometimes it makes it hard to see. Ghosts rise from those tombstones. Check the tombstones in the order the ghosts appear. If you get it wrong, you're in for a surprise. And we have sort of like a little mini game here where we have to play Simon Says yet again with these, you know, tombstones. Luckily, they only give you 3, and you have to examine them, you know, the 3 in the right order. I don't know what happens if you get it wrong, actually. I don't really remember anything bad happening, despite what he just said. Splendid. Now go look at the pumpkin. Alright, I don't see a pumpkin because, oh my goodness. I wish I had shown you guys the pumpkin before it exploded, because it actually did look pretty cool. But in the box here, we get a Jack in the box. That's kind of funny. Wouldn't it just be a Jack because it was already in the box? I don't know. But now that we have that, we can actually go back to Dr. Finkelstein and give him that. And what I said before was, I think this level is actually kind of short, you know, compared to the other ones. I mean, I don't know if that's just me or not, but it seems like we're probably over halfway through the level already, even though there are 2 boss fights in this level as well. And I don't think that's really a spoiler to say, because I think, what, Atlantica had 2 boss fights? Am I going to be able to go in here? Thank you. Atlantica had 2 boss fights. I can't think of any right now off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the only one that had 2 boss fights. So it seems like the 2 boss fight thing is becoming a normal thing. But let's go ahead and talk to Dr. Finkelstein. Yes, this is it.
There you go. This time it's sure to work. Whoa!
It looks like Larry, Curly, and Moe have run off with our heart because that was some Three Stooges-esque, you know, scenery, or not scenery, but like action there.
We lost them.
Zero! After them, quick!
I always thought that was kind of a weird name for a dog. I know it is like a ghost dog or whatever, but I don't know, that shouldn't really matter, I guess. Zero? Actually, that is kind of a cool name now that I think about it, I guess. Alright, so I always used to think that part was really weird with that, bathtub that they were riding in. Apparently that's their mode of transportation. But I do need to go ahead and take these guys out yet again to progress, through that, whatever that is, the tombstone or crypt or whatever you want to call it. Alright, made pretty quick work of them, but now that we can jump back in the coffin, I believe there's going to be yet another exit to this area over here somewhere. Maybe we have to examine, yeah, this is going to be it right here, I believe. And that is the crypt I was talking about. I don't know why I was calling the other thing a crypt. That's more of like a coffin, not really a whole, the whole entire building that would, signify a crypt here. But we actually do have to examine whatever, this small, gravestone on the ground here. And we can't do that until we take down, guess what, all of the enemies yet again. So let me go ahead and do that. Man, is that finally all of them? It seems like they really didn't want to, want us to get past this part here. But when we examine that gravestone on the ground there, that uncurls this curl, I don't know what you would call this really. I'm not sure. It looks like the top of maybe the top of a top hat or something like that. I'm not really sure, but let me go ahead and take care of yet another set of enemies here. There we go. I was beginning to wonder if it was going to be an endless cycle of Heartless there. But if we come over here, I'm not going to do this right now. You can actually cast Fire, and when I said I'm not going to do that right now, I meant I'm going to do it right now. And what that does is it's basically a shortcut back to the area we were just in without having to go, all the way through the area we're about to go to. Oh, look, more Heartless. Alright, so we've taken care of yet another wave of Heartless, and down here we have a treasure chest that has a Dispel G in it. There is one up here which has, I believe, Dalmatians in it, but look, more Heartless! Alright, made our way back over to this treasure chest. It looked like I had a little bit of a hard time getting up here, but in here we have Dalmatians, just like I thought. Now, there is one more treasure chest on the other side, and by the way, this goes back to the guillotine square. Guillotine, no matter how you say it, means the same thing. But over here, there is a treasure chest. Are you kidding me? More Heartless! Anyway, there is a treasure chest over there we can get. This jump right here is really hard for me, though. I can never get it, it seems like. Wow, I actually made it in, what, the second try or something like that? But this is a defense up. And in the next, I might as well go ahead and do it now. Let's go to our stock here. We have a couple of defense ups, which will go great, with Sora here, just like all of our other stat ups. An AP up, which I think we got from Owl, and a power up that we also got from Owl, if I, remember correctly. But that is all the area, or all the, items in this area here. We are free to progress onto Oogie's Manor.
I knew Oogie Boogie was behind this.
And in the next episode, we are actually going to be taking on Oogie's Manor. Look at that, guys. You have something awesome to look forward to. But I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts, and I can't wait to see you guys back for the next episode.